opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the network or anyone affiliated. There will be mature and possibly immature content. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. As a matter of fact, I probably wouldn't listen at all. It's very poorly produced. Take me to your leader.
Monster Castle Radio Show. For the extreme paranormal listener. And here is your host, the Wolfman, Mike.
This is where all rumors have.
Welcome to Monster Castle Paranormal, everybody. And stop that. Thank you. We got a very, very cool guest, and thanks so much. Jim, are you there?
I'm here.
Right on. Okay, we're going to start right into this because Jim's story is quite extensive. And I don't think a lot of people have heard this before. Yeah, it's a little early, we're being told, but we got, Eric's in the chat room, and A-Hole Skeptic. Jim used to be a road manager for Willie Nelson, which is pretty cool, and that's probably lots of stories already to go with there, and probably a lot of, like, smoking pot and stuff, eh? So yeah, I think everybody should start out by smoking a big doob, relax, and then Jim, can you tell us a little bit about yourself besides that?
Well, there's too much to tell, actually.
Yeah, he's the
but
one.
I actually wasn't. I wasn't really Willie Nelson's road manager. I was his promoter.
Oh, okay. Sorry, pretty close.
I put the concerts together and promoted them, put tours together, things like that.
Oh, okay. So, and I couldn't find you anywhere on social media. You're not even are you on Facebook or Twitter or anything?
No, I've grown old.
You just keep, yeah. You're pretty private.
I'm technologically challenged.
Yeah, I hear you. So you have been numerous abductions throughout your life. You have possession of a spherical, metallic, sort of strange object that possibly could have been dropped from a unidentified flying object from possibly.
That's where it came from.
Yeah. Can you start by telling us all about that? Was that on your ranch?
No, it was in New Mexico. It's on my ranch now, but it was a friend of mine who lived way out in the middle of nowhere in New Mexico. Had $1 million adobe home, and he took me out to his house one day, and there was a pile of these steel spheres in his yard, which I asked him, what in the heck they were and where they came from, and he said, "I'd tell you, but you wouldn't believe me." And I said, "Well, try me." And he said, "Well, there was a UFO came over the house and dropped them out right there, and they've been laying there ever since." And I talked him out of one of them, and I've had it for many years. And I had it on a stand. And one day, Ronnie Dotson decided he wanted to run some tests on it, and we took it off the stand and put it on the floor. And it sat there for a few minutes, and then it started moving around. And so we got the camera out and filmed it, and it was pretty amazing. It just defied the laws of physics. And I'd never seen it move around before because I never put it down before. So that was kind of a surprise. And Ronnie did a bunch of tests on it and videotaped them. He put up Tesla coil underneath it and shot 100,000 volts into the bottom of it. And he put a test bulb, a light bulb for testing, like you see a picture of Tesla holding this big light bulb. It was like that. And we checked it and it worked. And then he touched it to the top of the sphere and it wouldn't light up. And that kind of was surprising because you'd think stainless steel would be conducting electricity. But he ran some more tests with some different equipment. And he said, this thing is not conducting electricity, it's absorbing it. So it's kind of a mystery object. We don't really understand that much about it. But I have seen a picture years ago on the front page of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, and there was a picture. It was a picture of several of these spheres. And they said they were slightly larger than a bowling ball, which is what mine is. And it weighs 50 pounds. And they said that the government was missing a bunch of them and that they used them to store plutonium in. So I really think that's what it is, but I really have no idea. But it's a mysterious object for sure.
So, it absorbs electricity and moves around by itself. Does it give off any kind of vibration?
I've never detected any kind of vibration off of it. I've checked it for that, and Ronnie never found anything like that either. Although we have, it does have radiation. It is radiating energy. And in fact, when I first got this sphere, I was living in Taos, New Mexico, and there is an ashram. Tibetan monks have an ashram there in Taos because it's on the exact opposite side of the planet from Tibet.
Yeah.
But anyway, they came out to my house to visit me, and they saw this sphere, and they just went crazy. They said told me it was radiating energy. And I said, I can't tell it. How can you tell that? And they said, well, we can tell. It's radiating energy. And they wanted me to give it to them to take to the Dalai Lama so he could maybe figure out why it was radiating energy. And because they said they were just getting ready to go to visit the Dalai Lama.
Where was this? Where was this? Sorry, where was this? Where did you meet these guys?
In Taos, New Mexico.
Okay, so there was some monks there.
Yeah, kind of shocking deal. But
okay,
anyway, I told them that I refused to, let them take it. So they got out this camera equipment and video equipment. And they took pictures of me in the sphere to take to the Dalai Lama. So the Dalai Lama's got a picture of me in the sphere.
Oh boy!
Which is
oh man,
pretty
cool.
strange.
So yeah, they really like your. The Dalai Lama likes you. That's
well,
awesome.
I've never had any contact with him, but just the monks. But they actually told me, I said, that's a long trip, isn't it? And they said, actually, it's pretty quick. And I said, how could it be quick? And they said, well, we actually passed through the planet. And, they're monks. Surely they wouldn't lie to you, but,
What?
it's kind of a strange thing. Yeah, they claim that they passed through the planet. But Tibet was on the exact opposite side of the planet from Taos, New Mexico. And that's why they had their ashram in Taos.
Well, that's pretty weird.
And I was living in Taos because my extraterrestrial friends had me move there because that's where their number one base in this country is in Taos, New Mexico. Strangely enough, you don't hear anything about that. But, I lived there off and on for years, and I've watched them go in and out of this mountain that the Indians own that nobody else can go on to.
Yeah, you told me about
There's a
this
lake
mountain.
in the top. There's a lake at the top of the mountain, and they go in and out of the lake.
Whoa. Okay, so they use the lake to go through the center of the earth. You're telling me?
No. That's the monks. The monks go through the earth. The extraterrestrials live inside the mountain, and they go into the mountain through the lake.
Okay. Sorry, I was getting the two stories confused. I was also going to ask you, how did you get to know Ronnie Dawson?
Well, let's see. I'm not sure. It's been a while. We've known each other for a while now. It seems like somebody put us together. Somebody that knew we were, had some things in common. We should talk. So
yeah, sometimes when weird things happen. That's why I called you the other night. I had all this weird stuff happening to me, and I needed somebody to talk to that's gone through similar things to calm me down.
Yeah, I understood that. Believe me. And I have a ranch out in the middle of nowhere, and for some reason they seem to be here pretty regular. I watch them play with military jets all the time.
Do you think that
just recently
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think that it's recently? Do you think that it's getting more frequent, or I've heard that there's more of an uprising of sightings lately in the last week?
Well, I'm not surprised at that, but they've been pretty consistently here. The longest I've gone without seeing them has been 6 months, and that's pretty rare. And this last time, it was a 3-month gap before I saw them again. But I see them up close, and for some reason they're here. I don't know why, but they're here.
Wow! So did you go on a Blog Talk radio show earlier today?
No, I did not.
Okay. Somebody in the chat room thought they heard you. Okay, that's all right. Sorry, Stabby, you're wrong. Stabby McHugs. Shout out Stabby McHugs. Shout out to Eric. Shout out to A-Hole Skeptic. I haven't even checked who's all in Twitter listening to us anyways. Go ahead, I'm interrupting the train of thought here. I'm going to have to find our railway back. Okay. They're saying that Tibet and New Mexico are north of the equator and therefore not quite opposite. Wait. Forget I said anything. He says, forget I said anything. Continue, please.
Continue, please.
Yeah, continue, please. He says, forget it. Wait a minute. Never mind. Forget I said anything. Continue, please.
Okay. I actually wanted to tell you about some of the things that they taught me. which is pretty incredible. I've never talked about this, but before my first meeting with them as an adult, they sent various beings into my life to prepare me for this meeting. And these people all had incredible abilities. The first person that they sent into my life, I was told that I needed to meet this person in San Marcos, Texas, that he wanted to do an outdoor concert, and he had the concert site, he had the money, he just needed somebody that knew how to do it, how to promote it, hire the bands and market the thing. So I went over and talked to the guy, and I met him in a bar, and we had a couple of drinks, kind of checked each other out, and then I got him to ride with me, and we went to his house where we could talk privately. And when we got to his house, he lived in an ancient duplex that the paint was wore off of, the screens were rusted off of, and I'm thinking, what the heck? You know, this guy claims he's got the money to do a major outdoor concert. I was kind of wondering what was going on. We went in the house, and he introduced me to a friend of his who was reading the Bible, and his wife, who was probably one of the most beautiful women I'd ever seen in my life. And this guy was very plain looking. And they had a 1-year-old baby, and the baby was beautiful. And he told me that right off the bat, he said, Jim, all we need you to do is organize this thing, hire the bands, and market it. He said, you don't have to worry about selling tickets. He said, I'll use my powers to draw people to the concert. And I went, you'll what? You'll use your powers? And he said,
my!
If you're gonna be a part of this, you have to know that this is for real. So he said, I'm going to give you a demonstration that we don't normally show anybody. And he had me walk across the room from him. We were about 20 feet apart, and he held his hand up, and I felt electricity shoot all over my body. It was astounding. I mean, I was shocked. You know, how could somebody do something like that? And then we started talking about the concert.
Maybe with a taser. Do you think he just had a taser in his pocket or something?
Yeah. Man, he was 20 feet from me, man. He just waved his arm at me.
He waved his arm, and did you hear anything when he did that? Like, or see any sparks?
Not a.
You didn't hear this?
No sound.
Sound like that?
No, I didn't hear any sound at all. I just felt electricity all up and down my body.
Okay, it didn't hurt or anything, eh? Did it? Like that? No.
No.
Okay, good. I'm glad you were okay.
They weren't doing this concert to make money for themselves. They wanted to use the money to help humanity, and they were very serious about this. Now, I was kind of shocked, but anyway, we talked for a while, and then I had to take him back to his car at the bar. And on the way back to the bar, I ran over this Jack Russell Terrier that ran out in front of me. And I had a big Cadillac. And I wiped this dog out. I stopped the car in the middle of the road and ran back to where the dog was at. He was laying there flopping around, convulsing, bleeding, and dying. And the people who own the dog came out into the street, and we're standing there watching this dog die. And I said, gosh, I'm sorry. I wish there was something I could do. And this friend of mine got out of my car and walked up beside me, and he held up his hand over the dog. The dog quit bleeding, quit convulsing, stood up on its legs and looked at him right in the eyes. He dropped his hand. The dog ran back up into the yard like nothing was wrong with it. And these people said, how'd you do that? And he took off running back to my car, and he said, let's get out of here. And so I ran back to my car, and we drove off. And I said, how did you do that? And he said, Jim, your subconscious mind witnessed that. If you ever have to heal anybody, you can. And he was right. I was able to in the years to come, I've healed several people. My first healing was actually a dog.
So did you do like what the guy did, like wave your hand and have some kind of electricity come off? Is that what you mean, or how do you do it?
No, I actually didn't understand how it worked. I just knew I could do it, and I could do it.
Was it
But
after this? After this guy
how
did
it worked.
Do you think it's because this guy did something to you, or was he just
I'm not
demonstrating
sure.
like electricity, or do you think he did something
No,
to you right there?
Because when the aliens finally started communicating with me, they told me that
Excuse me.
all humans have mental abilities that we do not use, that we're not aware of. And they told me that we had the ability to heal and that we could create our own reality, which I realized I've been doing my whole life. And that there was really no limit to what we could do with our minds. Well, I ended up, I took a hammer blow to the head. It was actually a flaming axe, and it punctured my skull, and I lost a large chunk of my left brain, which left half my body paralyzed for years. And the doctor said that it would never come back, and just to get used to it. And I was having grand mal seizures too, so I was in really bad shape. But one day I met this lady who had a Mexican restaurant, and we got to talking, and she told me she had a brain tumor. Well, I'd managed to get my right leg working, but I couldn't get my arm to work. And she gave me this book, and she said that this friend of hers had given her this book and told her that if she could read it and understand it, she could cure this brain tumor. And she told me that she read the book and it didn't make any sense to her. So she gave it to me, and she said, maybe you can understand it. Maybe you can heal yourself. So I took the book home and read it, and I was amazed. It explained how I was using my mind to heal. It explained, it was absolutely the most amazing book I'd ever read. And it looked brand new. It looked like it just been come off the printing press. And I looked in the front of the book, and it was a first edition printing, and it was printed in 1905. And the name of the book was the Edinburgh Lectures. And it's by Thomas Troward, and you can buy it off the internet today. And it's called it's about mental science, and it's a book on how to use your brain to do just about anything. It's truly the most amazing book I've ever read. And I used what I'd learned to heal my arm up and to stop my seizures. And then I went back to this restaurant, and I was going to heal this lady's brain tumor for her. But she had died. By the time I got there, she'd already died. But she pretty much saved my life by giving me that book.
Oh, that's an incredible story, man.
It is. It's amazing, and everybody should read this book.
What was it called again?
I gave it to a friend of mine. It's called the Edinburgh Lectures, and it's by Thomas Troward.
Is that the author?
Troward.
Okay.
That's the author, yes. He has several books, and they're all amazing. This guy must have been incredibly enlightened. It was kind of a difficult book for me to read, but
somebody from the chat room will look it up. They'll probably post it in Twitter or somewhere really soon here, I expect.
I think everybody should read this book because it's truly amazing.
So what did you learn from the book that changed your life?
Well, it explained to me how to heal, how to use your mind and your subconscious mind to heal. The subconscious mind is the healer of the body. And when I heal somebody, I'm actually not healing them myself. What I'm doing is communicating with their subconscious mind, and their subconscious mind heals them, not me. I'm just getting their subconscious mind to do that. because they're not aware of the fact that they could do it themselves.
Yes, I understand. I don't even want to say, but I've healed people, but I've done that too. I've healed people, but I don't know how I do it. I just put my hands on them and I go to the spot. I can just sense where there's a problem. Can you do that?
Can I do what?
Can you sort of zone in without them telling you and just feel it, their area of something wrong in their body, or do people have to tell you what's wrong?
No, I don't have to know what's wrong, but they have to be open to be healed. They have to be open to the fact of being healed. Sometimes that's difficult.
I guess I didn't say it right.
Because,
what I'm wondering is, like, say you walk
most
into a
people
room.
don't believe in this.
Say you walk into a room with people that do believe in this. Would you be able to just pick it up and just say, "Hey, buddy, there's something wrong with your back right there," or whatever?
Yes.
You can? Wow.
Yes, I recently healed a friend of mine of throat cancer. And
did he? And he didn't have a clue. What's going on here?
Well, no, he came to my house and he told me what was wrong with him. I mean, I hadn't seen him in a while. He'd lost a lot of weight and he looked really bad and couldn't hardly talk. And he didn't realize that I had those abilities, and so I healed him, and I told him he was healed, and
hello,
and he called me a week later. Hello,
you're on.
You still there?
Yeah, we got a guest. My friend Eric's here too.
No, just let him finish his story,
Yep.
and then I'll
just go ahead.
With him.
Ignore this man, Jim. Just keep talking.
Okay. Well,
sorry.
I remember where I was at.
You were. Geez, man, it kind of screwed me, threw me off too. You were talking about when you were healing people, the man of throat cancer.
Yeah, and that was just recently. And he called me back a week later, and he said, "Thank you. I can't thank you enough. I don't have cancer anymore." He said, "I can't believe it." He said, "How'd you do that?" So
wow.
I told him to come read the book.
Okay. Did anyone get
people
that?
With terminal cancer?
Did anyone get that in the chat room yet? I'm just looking. What was the name of the author again?
Thomas Troward.
Yeah.
Troward.
Troward. What? Someone just kicked me out.
Troward. Trowd. How can you spell it now? ARD.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on. I had to refresh my page for some.
It's
Hey, while he's refreshing, I want to ask a question, sir, if I could.
Okay.
Are you familiar with a lady? Her first name slips my mind, but her last name is Meredith. She's a healer. She lives in Los Angeles. I've heard what you're sharing tonight. I've been researching for a few years, and I've heard many people talk about this. So for that reason, my rational mind tells me that what you're sharing, although probably the 99% of people that might hear this for the first time, they might think this is just beyond their comprehension, but there is a reality to this. So what I'm trying to figure out is, when did you realize, at what point in your life, whether it was a childhood or what, did you realize that you had this gift, this ability, this perception, whatever you want to label it, but this understanding of this reality?
Yeah, I don't know if you heard the first part yet. How old were you when that happened, when you first found out when you healed that dog?
Oh, I was in my late 20s, actually.
Wow, that young, eh?
It was not long after they contacted me and told me that I had these abilities. And since I'd already seen this friend of mine heal this dog, I knew it was possible. And strangely enough, my first healing was a dog.
There's nothing wrong with that. I've seen people heal like birds and stuff right in front of me with a broken wing, and they just hold it, and it's boom, the bird flies away. So I believe in it.
Well,
I've seen it happen. I've done things myself, so I absolutely believe in you. I'm right with you. We don't have a skeptic in the room except maybe Eric and a few people in the chat room, maybe. But I think that's amazing, man.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, I've healed several people with terminal cancer, and that's because they're easy to heal because they're really desperate and they want to be healed so bad that they're open to whatever. So they're really easy to heal.
Animals, yeah, because the animals can see ghosts. They don't. You lose their childhood. The way that, their soul was so innocent when they were born. They keep it.
And I've healed total strangers before. In fact, one time I had a couple come up to me and say to me, "You're a healer, aren't you?" And that totally blew me away. I have no idea how they knew that, but they were a young couple, and the girl was pregnant, and she had terminal cancer, and she was going to die of cancer before she had the baby. And they were just extremely emotional about the whole thing. And I got up and I said, "Yes, I am a healer," and I put my arms around her and I said, "You no longer have cancer, and you're going to have that baby, and everything will be fine." And they had no doubt that I had healed her. They absolutely had no doubt.
That is a good idea.
Another time, a friend of mine told me that this friend of hers had terminal cancer, and she had 5 kids, and she only had 6 months to live. And so we went to see her, and I was just introduced to her, and I shook hands with her, and when I shook hands with her, I healed her, but I didn't tell her. I didn't say a word to her. I just told my friend after we left that I had healed her. So, she's going to be fine. And so, my friend called me back a week later and said that, "I just wanted to tell you, I went by and visit my friend, and I told her that you had healed her," and she started crying, and she said, "I went to the doctor 2 days ago, and they told me they couldn't find a trace of cancer in me anywhere." And
Jim,
I didn't even tell her I did.
You're gonna have everybody coming down to your ranch to get healed now, after telling us,
Well,
everybody.
Coming up in a moment is Jeff the Gray.
This is the Monster Castle Paranormal Radio Show. We explore the paranormal phenomenon with researchers and skeptics from all walks of life and beyond. Fridays and Saturdays, 9 p.m. Pacific.
I got the times wrong on that commercial. We're probably I'm usually 11 p.m. Eastern time, but tonight because some of my guests they want to come on a little earlier. I do. In this case, I'm not going to miss out for this interview with Jim Marlin, everyone. If you just joined us, Jim, hey, can you tell us, you were going to talk to me about that, what you said you never talked about before, how they interact with in your head when you communicate with the others.
Well, they sent a person into my life earlier who taught me telepathy, and it's something that we can all do. But we had to practice for a while. But after a little practice, we got really good at it, and eventually, that's how they communicated with me was through telepathy.
Yeah, see, that's why I called you the other night. That's exactly. And then you said, "Hey, maybe I could talk a bit about that." So maybe that's what we should talk about next. I don't know.
Well,
I don't want to throw you off what you were talking about, though. Doesn't matter to me.
Well, I'll tell you about another unusual person that came into my life, and I think the reason this person came into my life was just to prove to me that things that we think are not possible are possible. But I was in Taos, New Mexico, visiting a friend, and it was about a foot of snow on the ground when I got there. and it ended up about 3 foot of snow on the ground. And so we were kind of snowed in, and somebody knocked at the door. And my friend said, "My God, who'd be out in this kind of weather?" And so we got the door open and got this guy in, and he was like 6'5", had shoulder-length hair, and he had nothing on but a loincloth. He had no shoes on, nothing but a loincloth. And there was 3 foot of snow on the ground. And he didn't seem to be cold at all. And the guy was very intelligent. And he visited with us for a couple of hours, and then he said, "Well, I've got to get back up in the mountains before it gets too late." He said, "I'm staying with some Indians higher up in the mountains." And he just took off through 3 foot of snow with nothing but a loincloth on, headed up into the mountains. It was mind-boggling. And I eventually hired this guy to work a concert, an outdoor concert I did. And I hired a couple of hot air balloons to film from. And we got one of them up early in the morning, and we were filming from the balloon. And we looked down, and this guy's running through the desert, through cactus, rock, everything, and he's barefooted, nothing but a loincloth on. I mean, he's not even looking where he's running. He's looking up at the balloon. It's just, you go, how can this guy do this? And so, I've seen so many things that are just seem impossible, but they happen. And
actually,
checked,
I'd have to agree with you.
I checked to find out, I asked, whatever happened to this guy? And my friend told me that he was a stockbroker on Wall Street. That just blew my mind as well.
And the other guy that you met that waved his hand with the electricity, didn't you tell me that later on one time you met him and he revealed what he really was and showed you his spaceship? Is that the same guy?
No.
Oh, I thought that was that guy. I was just guessing.
Different deal.
Oh, wow. So you met lots of weird people.
I've met many extremely unusual, gifted people.
That's straight. I wonder why.
I think they came into my life to prepare me for my first meeting with these extraterrestrials. It all made it that much easier because I was prepared.
Yeah, it's almost
because
like
another person came into my life and showed me my first UFO. Just a year before I had my first contact with them.
Do you think it's all planned? Do you think it's all part of a plan?
Yes,
it almost seems like it's planned out for us.
Well, they told me that they'd given me information that I couldn't access until it was time, whatever that means.
Wolfman, can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Sir, I'm sorry. What's your first name, sir? I apologize.
It's Jim.
Jim, do you know, do they communicate with you what star system? Are we talking about Pleiadians possibly, or is this another group maybe, or can you elaborate on that?
Are you talking to me or somebody else?
Oh, he was asking you which group of aliens that communicate with you.
They told me they're from the Pleiades star system.
Yeah, you got it, dear.
Yeah.
Wow, you freaked me out, man. You got it.
There's a lot of
Eric.
Pleiadian communication. Have you been to Sedona, Arizona, by chance, sir?
Have you been to Arizona? Maybe I got to turn you up.
I don't hear him right now. I hear you, but I don't hear him.
Jim?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I can't hear him either.
Oh, okay. You can't hear him very well. I turned him up a bit.
Yeah, I'm just trying to ask him if he's had experiences in Arizona or where he might have experienced the Pleiadian contact. Because I'm just trying to Nevada. I'm just trying to figure. It's part of the puzzle.
Okay.
Yeah, he's asking you whereabouts that was. With the Pleiadians. He's familiar with the Pleiadians. And he's trying to track it down. So he's wondering where that was.
Well, I was in California at the time, and I actually met a man out in California who owned all the TV and radio stations in New Zealand, and he told me that he was communicating with some beings from the Pleiades star system as well, and he was also building a landing area in New Zealand for them.
Can you say his name?
What now?
Oh, can you say his name? Wonder why he can't hear you. That's strange.
No, I honestly don't remember. It's been too long ago.
Oh, okay.
But he owned all the TV and radio stations in New Zealand.
Wow.
Surely, you can figure that out. Find him from that.
And
There's so many ways we can go with this. I mean, I just want to know what compels you to even want to share your information, your experiences publicly. I mean, what is your motivation and your interest in humanity?
Could you hear him there, Jim?
These beings gave me a mission, and they told me that they wanted me to tell everybody that I could that they were real and they existed, and that the Earth was going to go through a lot of disasters. And they told me this in 1976, and all these disasters would just continue to get more intense and more intense. And in 2012, I was kind of in the depression that something really big was going to happen in 2012. And they said that if I would tell people about this, that they couldn't just come down and land because most people would go insane. But if I told people this story, that when they came down and landed, they would think, oh, Jim said this was going to happen, and they would have a chance of being saved. Because they said that we are their children, and they plan on saving as many of us as they can from when the Earth is destroyed, which they think is going to happen. And I think it's a comet that's supposed to be coming back around. It's the comet that caused the Great Flood, and it's coming back around again, and it's in 2030.
Does this have anything to do with Nibiru?
Yeah, is that the planet?
Well, it's. I don't think it's the same, but I've heard about Nibiru, of course, but I don't know if it's the same one. But I just finished a 4-inch thick science book on this about this comet that's coming back around in 2030, and how it caused the Great Flood. That it hit the polar ice cap and melted all the ice instantly, and it hit some of the mountains in Europe too, and melted all the snow, and it caused the Great Flood.
I can believe that.
It's coming back around in 2030.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let's just say hypothetically you are giving advice to humanity. Where in 2030 should people be to avoid the consequences, or is it just going to be inevitable for everybody?
I don't think there's going to be any place to hide. That's why they said they want to come down and save as many of us as they can when this happens.
Yeah, I had not a very good experience with what I was talking about earlier in the week. They gave me some kind of a download. This first time they ever talked to me telepathically. Freaked me right out. Anyway, what I seen was not really pretty. And it's going to be shocking and scary. I don't really know what's going to happen. I just shown the start of the event. There's going to be some explosions in the sky in the pattern of Draco. That's what I was told. And like bunch of aerial explosions. I think it's already going on. Have you seen those, Jim? It looks like a cluster of little explosions in the sky. No,
I haven't seen anything like that.
What have you seen lately? Or did?
Lately, I've seen the UFOs out above our ranch playing chase with military jets.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that earlier.
They do that pretty regularly around here. It's pretty unusual.
Are they different type of
Well,
craft,
obviously,
or are they all different types of craft that you see, or just mainly one type? Or?
I'm seeing them at night, and it's just a white light, a bright white light. That's how they know we can't see anything, but when we look at white light, we can't see anything.
Yeah, so they kind of blind you.
That's so that they'll light up this white light, and the jets will come after them, and then they'll cut the light out, and the jets can't seem to find them.
Where is this?
And then they'll
Sir, I'm sorry.
Well,
Jim, where's this happening?
Again.
Where? I'm sorry.
Where is this happening?
Yeah.
Yes.
Central Texas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And actually, where I live where I live because they told me to live here. But they said this is going to be the only safe place on the planet when things go bad. And that's why they have me live here. And I have an alien friend that I grew up with. I didn't realize he was an alien until we were adults. And he lives very close to me as well.
Okay, Jim. What we're discussing so far this evening, I'm gonna guess you're above 50 or 60.
Oh
in
no,
that
he's
range,
older.
Sir?
Than that.
Am I being reasonable?
Oh, he's older than that.
Okay, but I mean, at what point in your life were you aware of this? I mean, I'm trying to determine. Were you completely convinced that this was a reality? That this wasn't just something, the delusional fantasy that you were having?
Well, I realized it when they started communicating with me. I absolutely, totally realized it because I actually asked them while I was talking to them if they would come down and so my kids could see them and so that I could explain to my kids what they told me. And they said, sure. And the next day, they came to my house. I lived in Modesto, California, in the valley, a town of over 200,000 people. And I was in the house with my kids and a friend that was visiting, and we heard it sounded like a jet helicopter landing in my backyard. So we ran out into the backyard, and there was this giant spaceship above my house. It was as long as my block that I lived on. And when we went outside, it went dead silent. And I had two young boys, and one of them grabbed a hold of me, was shaking. The other one ran back in the house. So I had to go back in the house and get him and drag him back out. And then they were both holding on to me, shaking. And this giant craft is above us, and it's 3:00 in the afternoon. It's a summer afternoon.
Were there neighbors out
I explained
also?
Everything I could.
What year was this in?
I thought all my neighbors, and I figured everybody in that part of town would have seen it, but apparently nobody saw it. They seem to be able to block out people if they want to.
Wow. What year was that, sir?
This was in 1977, actually.
Wow.
That was my first contact with them. Well, my first contact as an adult. They'd been abducting me since I was a child. And they explained that to me.
Well, that's where we want to get
when
to,
I first
right?
started communicating.
Let's go back. Go ahead, Wolfman. That's where we want to go. That's where we want to hear, though, the childhood's experiences.
Yeah, that's where we were left off, somewhere in his 20s, and where he meets. He met some strange people. He was talking about this, the second one. Yeah, and then
Were the Palladians? He said, I'm assuming they're the Palladians, and from what I've been told, or at least what I've heard, is they're very human-looking and very attractive. Am I on the same page with what you experienced?
Yeah, what did they look like?
Yeah, if you're You're not. Who are you talking to? Me or somebody else?
Oh, Jim, sorry, we're confusing you. He's asking pretty much the same question. What did they look like, these Pleiadians?
Well, I asked them that, and they told me they looked just like me. They
Oh,
looked
wow.
just like us. And
so you were right again.
and you know, when I was being abducted as a child, they were the Greys, and they would come right through the wall and take me, and you know.
Ooh.
But the Greys are
Jeez.
are androids.
Ooh. We don't like them.
They work for the Pleiadians.
Oh, they work for the Pleiadians.
Yeah, well, I think they created them.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. I have to, Wolfman. I apologize. I really, seriously, I'm going to send you a donation, Wolfman, of $100 just for allowing me the opportunity to ask questions tonight. I just want you to know right now, I'm good for that.
Oh, you're awesome, buddy. You okay.
All right. But let me just, because, just
first donating of the night, Eric, the Awakening Man. All right. Thank you, Eric.
All right. Anyway, Jim, so I don't know if you also research this, but I am a researcher, and the reason I called in because the story you're sharing, I've heard multiple times. This is the first time I can recall hearing that the Pleiadians have their own set of organic robotoid humanoid greys. I've heard that other races.
Right.
I mean, is it plausible that multiple races have their own set of greys, but they're not all performing the same function? I mean, does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
If you can elaborate, I'd greatly appreciate that.
I have encountered a reptilian on my place, and which was kind of shocking. It scared me to death. It was 7 foot tall, had a fin on top of its head, and it had some things sticking out from its cheeks. And it had real long arms. It was thin.
Yeah.
And that was when they took me for a week, every day for a week. These reptilians did, and that hadn't been that long ago.
Hold on. When you say not long ago, you talk about within the last 5 years or 10 years?
Eric, he still gets all the time.
The reptilians.
Are the reptilians abducting you
like
in the recent times?
No, it's been
in
a
recent
year ago.
Years?
I think you tried to call me one night to be on your show.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that.
They'd been taking me every night.
Yeah,
and they took me that night, so I couldn't be on your show.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Like the last time he was supposed to be on my show, he got abducted that night.
Wow.
He disappeared. He was not there, man. He wasn't. He was there, and then he wasn't there. He wasn't. Wow. He wasn't. He was gone.
Okay, Jim? Okay, Jim. I don't mean this in a offensive or sarcastic manner. I'm just gonna come at you as if I was a straight skeptic, although I'm not personally. But I'm just gonna come at you for this. I mean, if you were listening to you speak to us currently, and you had no clue with any of this, I mean, can you understand how bizarre all this sounds? Do you even understand that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got family members that think I'm crazy, So I understand it completely.
Does that bother you, or how do you cope with that? Where you're having an experience and everyone thinks you're crazy.
Dude, that's why I called him. That is why I called him, because I needed somebody like Jim to talk to after what just happened to me. That's probably the way you dealt with it as well. You had to call somebody else that has gone through this shit. Am I right?
Yeah, I tried talking to anybody I could, trying to find out what I could find out. I researched everything I could. I talked to some of the top UFO researchers, and and you know, they all assured me that I was sane.
Have you talked to Daryl Sims?
He wanted me to go to Roswell with him and take my sphere. And I told him I really didn't want to do that.
Sims.
He wanted me
I met him in Roswell, and we hung out with him and Clifford Stone. So if you really want to try to figure this out, I think Daryl Sims could help you. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Ronnie Dotson played. He sent me a link to a Daryl Sims radio show, and Daryl Sims was talking about a couple of people that had called him and said they'd been abducted and they had evidence. So he went to their house and interviewed them and hypnotized them, and then they gave him the evidence. And a couple of days later, this couple called him and said that there were 2 retired FBI agents at their house, going through their house looking for this evidence that they had. And they wanted to know what to do. And he said, well, put one of them on the phone. And so one of the retired FBI guys got on the phone, and he said, look, I'm retired CIA. I'm not nothing. He said, you're a retired FBI. You're nothing. He said, you're working as a men in black for the government. You go around scaring people. And once he told me that, I started worried about them coming to my house. And I actually hid my sphere for a long time because I was afraid they were going to come get it.
Where did you originally come across this sphere that I missed that part. What is this thing, and when did you find it, and how did you get it?
I found it at a friend of mine in New Mexico, and it lived in $1 million adobe home out in the middle of nowhere. And I went out to his house one day, and he told me that a UFO came over the house and dropped him out in his yard. And he gave me one of them. And I've had it for a long time, many years.
Have you had, when you hold that thing in your hands or you're in the presence of it, have you had experiences that you didn't have when, you know what I'm saying? I mean, do you think this thing somehow is a communication device of some sort?
You know, I've wondered about that myself, and it possibly could be some kind of recording device. I've only had one weird experience with it, and I've never been able to figure this out. But I took it off the stand and I set it on the floor, on the carpeted floor, and I was talking to a friend of mine. And I was laying on the floor on my back with my feet on the sphere, rubbing my feet on the sphere. And it was like a bolt of lightning between my feet and the sphere, and I shot across the floor on my back. And I've never seen it do that before or since. But that's something we never could figure out. What caused that? How could that possibly happen?
Dang! And I put up pictures of it in Twitter of this ball on #47Talk.
All right. I've had Ronnie Dotson had a film crew from Japan came to my house and filmed me in the sphere, and they checked it for radiation, which it is radiating energy, and there's only one TV station in Japan, and that's the station that they have a sister station in L.A., and they sent the film crew out all the way from L.A. to Texas to film me in the sphere. And I had a friend of mine who's head of the UCLA film school. He was visiting me, and he filmed them filming me. And he said they were amateurs. And that's about all the sphere stories I've got, except for just the adventures of carrying it around with me. I took it on an airplane from California to Texas back in the early 90s. I had it in a bowling ball bag. And, of course, they ran it through their X-ray machine, and all the security people came out and checked it out and checked me out and held me up for a while. But they finally let me take it on the plane, which was kind of surprising. I'd never get away with it these days. But I took it on the plane and put it under my seat, and one of the stewardesses came down and said she'd have to move it up to the front. And so they'd moved it up to the front and of the plane, and we took off. And the stewardess came back there and told me that the pilot would like to talk to me. And so I thought, okay. So I walked up to the front of the plane, and the pilot is out of the cockpit, and he's sitting down holding my sphere. He's taking it out of the bowling ball bag, and he's holding it. And he asked me, he said, "What in the hell is this?" And I told him everything I knew about it. And he started telling me stories about UFOs that he said, "We see UFOs come up here all the time, flying right beside us." He said, "We're not supposed to talk about it, but we see them all the time." So he and I sat there and traded UFO stories for about 30 minutes. And then finally he said, "I guess I better get back in the cockpit." And so I went back to my
seat, that's wicked.
And the pilot brought me
That's a great
all the way
story.
to Austin, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you probably can't say what airlines that was, or can you? Was it American Airlines?
Yeah, we want to fly with the crazy UFO pilot guy. Yeah, that guy. I want to go on his plane with and fly with the UFOs. We are at the top of the hour, folks. We're gonna have a little break if you want, Jim. To get washroom break.
Yeah,
we've been on for an hour, so
yeah.
I think it's time to give you a little break. Or you want to come back and talk some more a little bit after?
Maybe. Let's let me take a break, have a Shiner Bock, and I'll
do your Trinity. Something to drink, something to eat, and I'll play a song or two and some commercials, and then if you want to come back, we'll be here.
Okay.
All right. You don't even have to hang up.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim, for sharing your time with us. We appreciate it.
If you hang up, then I'll have to call you back. You might as well just leave it going.
Okay, I'll leave it going.
Okay, thanks. All right, everybody. Wasn't that awesome, Eric?
That was fantastic, dude. You scored.
My
Jim's
God,
awesome.
We're really lucky to have this, man.
That's the real deal. That gentleman's the real deal. I can just tell you right now.
Well, I've been wanting to have him on for so long, but wow, we did it.
Yeah, that's cool. Very cool.
Like I said, he got abducted the last time, man.
I thought you were joking, but I don't think you were.
No, I was being serious. We found out later.
I think you were. I'm like convinced now because there he is.
I'm a clone, I know that I'm fine. I'm running more of the way. I'm too doctor, he's on the line. We'll take incubation another day. I'm all alone, so are we all. We're all clones, all are one and one are all are one and one are all. We destroy the government, we're destroying time. No more problems on the way. I'm through, doctor, we don't need your kind. The other ones, ugly ones, stupid boys, wrong ones. I'm all alone, so are we all. We're all clones, all are one and one are all are one and one are all. Six is having problems, adjusting to his clone status. All day long we hear him crying so loud. I just wanna be myself, I just wanna be myself, I just wanna be myself. destroy the government, destroy time. No more problems on the way. I'm through, Doctor. We don't need your kind. The other ones, ugly ones, stupid boys, wrong ones. I'm all alone, so are we all. We're all clones, all are one and wonder all are one and wonder all. I'm all alone, so are we all. We're all clones, all are one and one are all are one and one are all.
Prove it yourself. Here's a Q-tip. How can you prove your Q-stick is straight and true? Well, that's easy. Willie Hoppy, world's three-cushion billiard champion, places his cue on the table and rolls it. A warped Q-stick will wobble and bounce. A
This
stick
is where
that's
all
true
the
will
real
describe
freaks
an
hang
even
out.
arc. And now watch a champion use it. Now, Willie Hoppy, how mild can a cigarette be?
Well, I've been smoking Camels for 20 years. I know they're mild and they really taste great.
Yes, Camels are so mild that in a test of hundreds of people who smoked only Camels for 30 days, throat specialists making weekly examinations reported not one single case of
From the sky, all kinds of colors, and they spin round, round, and those creatures. It was just wheels in the sky. Wheels within wheels, all within wheels. Giant. In the sky, I saw light.
Yeah, I think that Kurt might be a Palladian. Wolfman in the sky.
We are back. On Monster Castle. Well, I'm back.
Kurt Green is Palladian, by the way.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah,
And he
Jim might be able to
should
verify
really be
that.
deleted. Like, I mean,
Don't
like,
delete that. He's a Palladian. He just doesn't want anyone to know for some reason.
we have to delete everything. Everything has to be
delete
deleted.
it all.
Everything he's ever did.
He's got a reptilian hybrid gene in him, though. I think Kurt's a crossbreed hybrid reptilian Palladian, which is very rare. They only live in Tolleson, Arizona,
And he's
in
also
a trailer park down there by the river. That's where they live.
Yeah, and he probably also is like an Aryan, those blue feathered ones mixed into there.
Yes,
a bit of that
blue
too.
avian. Yep,
blue avian. Yeah,
he's got a
and-
little blue avian in him.
Yeah,
That's a
he also
little,
has some gray, the tall gray.
Yeah, a little bit, just a little
Yeah,
bit. Though,
and a little bit of the tall white as well.
Well, yeah, I can
Yeah,
see that. but
all
he
of
got
it.
stunted there. For some reason, he got stunted on that part of it there.
Oh. I wonder if he's still here. Start a new call. No.
He might still be on a break.
Is he there? Oh, yeah, I think he is. Yeah, he's still left it on. So
Right on. Well,
that's good.
Well,
so he
so
should.
What? So once Jim's finished, what are you going to open up the lines, or should I have that guy Neil call in? Because he's got quite a story that you might want to hear it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's very, it's Bruce May quality.
Well, I want to hear it then. Obviously, that's a yes.
I'm going to tell you right now, it's Bruce May 2020. Let's just put it that way.
Cool. He's a younger guy.
Hopefully Jim will come back. But I'll send a message to this guy and see if I can get him to. Do you want him to call in on Skype, or should he call in on another number?
We'll figure that out.
All right. Well, you just let me know. I'll be on standby.
I can call people with my Skype credit, but they can't call me the way I have it right now.
Okay. While you're talking to me, I'll send him a message just to see if he's even around, because I haven't. He's been.
Yeah. We'll see what he has. If he's got Skype, he could call my Skype. But yeah, I can't. I have trouble now with the new Skype apps. You can't even add people to the call. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, Skype's gotten really shitty. We got to switch to something else called Zoom. That's what I was told to do, or else just use Discord. It's way better than Skype's getting terrible, man. I have to use 2 different Skype lines now to merge people together. It's stupid.
Yeah. So this guy's name is Neil. If I can get him to call Neal.
Okay,
He's on
but
Twitter.
I won't be able to do that until Jim's off the line. If we're sure he's not coming back. So I don't want to try calling him right now yet.
If he wants to call in.
Yeah, it's really amazing that I got Jim. Because, like, he's hard guy to get a hold of. If he's not being abducted, he's busy.
I'm shocked, actually. I mean, this is... I haven't even heard of this guy, this Jim, before, and I'm just a little bit shocked. I mean, the story doesn't shock me, but the fact that it just totally resonates with a bunch of other stories I've heard, and he says it so matter-of-factly that I don't doubt him for even a half a moment. I don't doubt him at all.
He's in the Spreaker chat, I think. He says, "This is Neil. Call me up."
Okay, cool. That's the guy.
I could
probably
call,
listening to the show live.
Wolfman.
Hey, Jim's back. All right.
Wolfman.
Yeah.
I just heard the last part of that. Do you need me to hang up so you can call somebody?
No, no, sir. You're the main guest.
No, I'm the guy that needs to hang up.
No, Eric was saying if you leave and you can't come back, then we would have to do that if you hung up. But no, we would prefer to keep talking to you if you can do it, sir.
Well,
how you feeling?
Think of what to say.
I would like to ask you what the newest about the most recent stuff that's happened to you, and about the way they talk to you in your head telepathically.
Yes, excellent.
Well, that pretty much says it all. That that's the way they speak to me, is telepathically.
And
can you
like
paint
I
that
said,
picture
I had to
for us?
learn
So, I mean,
telepathy.
Imagine we're in the kindergarten. We're 5 years old. And you're trying to. I'm being serious. You're trying to explain so that they can visualize and kind of comprehend, somehow relate to how that even happens. I mean, without it sounding nuts. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how do the best you can, Jim. Help us out, please.
Well, when the first night they started communicating with me, I was actually laying in bed thinking about a business deal I was working on, when suddenly this voice just came out of nowhere and started talking to me, and it was completely amazing. At first I didn't know what to think. But then they explained everything to me.
Did it sound like it was coming from in the room, or like right in your head, or did you know it was somebody talking in your head? How do you perceive it?
Yeah, it was in my head. It was definitely in my head. There was no voice, it was all just mental.
Was it like thoughts, or there was not words, and it was like pictures and thoughts and emotions, sort of?
No, it was like somebody was talking to me.
Oh, actual words.
Well, did it sound like it was a male or a female, or could you even discern at all what type of voice? How would you describe it?
It sounded like a male, and in fact, when I was going to college, I had a major problem, and I prayed to God to help me solve this problem, what to do, how to solve this problem. And this voice spoke to me and told me what to do, and it didn't make any sense, but I thought it was God speaking to me, so I did what I was told, and all my problems were solved. And of course, I went down and joined the church, and I didn't find what I was looking for there. And when these beings started communicating with me, it was the same voice, and they told me that it was them that told me what to do and solved my problem. It wasn't God.
Wow.
They've been
Was
with
it
me
a
all my
Catholic
life.
church? I'm just curious. Was that a Catholic church that you originally visited, or a different type of church?
No, it was a Methodist. I grew up in a Methodist church.
It didn't help him at all. Sorry.
But
Jim, I got a question for Jim.
But
In your personal opinion, do you think,
okay,
in general, religion is used as a mind control tool for various, maybe various races of beings or whatever? I'm just saying, do you think religion is used as a mind control tool?
they told me that they created religion. That Jesus was their guy. They were trying to tame us savage humans with religion, trying to control us through religion. And they also told me that they had the body of Jesus Christ in a pyramid, in a golden pyramid in the mountain in Taos, New Mexico.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That's what I was going to ask about, too. Yeah. Did you hear that? That's wicked. The golden...
I have not heard that. Is that new news, or has that been around a while?
The only person I've heard it from is Jim. Not many people know this. And this is one of the messages they gave him. There's a golden pyramid inside the mountain in Taos, New Mexico. And it has the body of Jesus Christ.
It contains the body of Jesus Christ. I actually went to the Navajo medicine man and talked to him. And I asked him, I said, I have one question for you. Can you tell me what's inside the Magic Mountain? And he smiled at me and he said, inside the Magic Mountain is a golden pyramid, and inside the golden pyramid is the body of Jesus Christ. And, he just verified what they had told me. And,
have you heard of a man named Clifford Mahooty? He's an Indian shaman from Arizona.
No, I don't know.
All right. No, I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Now I had a film crew that filmed me for 5 days. They were making a documentary, and I told them about the Navajo medicine man, and they said they were going to Santa Fe to see the Hopi medicine man. So they said they'd stop in Taos and see the Navajo medicine man and talk about all this stuff, and they did, and they called me and said that both of the medicine men backed up everything I said and verified everything I told them.
Now, do you have Indian heritage in your bloodline?
Well, wait a minute. So both people confirm the same story. That's pretty cool, Eric.
I have Apache, Comanche, Cherokee, and Choctaw in me.
There you go.
And that
explains it all.
That's the reason they had been with me all my life, was because of my Native American genetics, and because I have a rare survival gene, which they said was very important to their survival.
Wow.
And I have survived. I've cheated death so many times it's mind-boggling. I mean, I'm missing most of my left brain. And if you didn't know that, you couldn't tell it.
Wow. Now, do you have existing bloodline, like
my surgeons
brother, sister, daughters?
I should be dead.
That still exist?
No.
Do you have any siblings?
Again, please.
Do you have any siblings? Or anyone with the bloodline?
I have a brother. Yes. I have a brother, but apparently they have no interest in him for some reason.
Doesn't mean
got the same genes that I did.
That's right. It's a rare recessive gene. That's pretty wild. You
might have been one of those. I mean, I shouldn't say. I need to rephrase this politely, but in a sense, you're kind of a genetic hybrid. Is that maybe accurate?
Yes. According to them, that's right.
Wow.
There's very rare currently. I mean, probably less than 1%, and from my research. I mean, really less than 1%.
Oh, yeah, really less than 1%. Yeah, because really 1% is actually quite a bit. That's 1 in 100 people, man.
I've actually never heard of a survival gene, and I can't imagine there being such a thing, but that's what they said they're interested in me for, because I have it.
Oh, yeah. Jim, can you knock on that ball for us? Yeah.
It's down in my guest house right now.
Okay, well, you shouldn't have told him that. I was pretending it's there. Yeah, he just did. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. He knocked on the ball. There you go, Darren. We had a.
So, Jim, have you ever been visited by the Men in Black?
Not yet, and I hope I don't.
I get the feeling you haven't been real public with this information, that you probably shared this kind of on a limited basis, or am I wrong there?
Well, you can't just talk to anybody about this stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah. So
Right.
Recently, what was your last abduction? Was it the reptilians or?
Yeah, it was the reptilians. Yeah.
Did you see
and
them?
I mentioned it to my extraterrestrial friend, and he was kind of shocked about it. But he didn't have a lot to say about it. But he doesn't have a lot to say about it. He doesn't want to tell me anything. He sticks to the prime directive.
Wow.
Can you tell us about the guy that?
In fact,
his spaceship, what it looked like when he revealed it to you?
Yes, it was appeared to be solid stainless steel. It was football shaped, only it had straight lines. There were no curved lines, and there were no seams, no doors. It appeared to be solid stainless steel. And about 2 years ago, my extraterrestrial friend asked me, out of the blue, he asked me, he said, "You remember that spaceship in Proctor, Texas?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "What do you think it was made out of?" And I said, "Well, it looked like stainless steel, but at the same time, there was something unusual about it. It was kind of either more in focus or a little bit out of focus. I couldn't tell." And he said, "Could it have been Mercury?" And I said, "That's exactly what it looked like, Mercury." And that came from an alien himself. So they obviously have Mercury in their craft somehow or another.
Yeah, and it somehow works with magnetics. And do you know anything about that?
When he brought the mothership to my house, when it took off, there was an electromagnetic charge wrapped around one end of it, and then it shot off to the north, and 10 military jets took off after it.
Have you ever been inside one?
Wolfman, I'm sorry. He just sparked a thought.
Okay.
Jim, what knowledge or familiarity do you have with Bob Lazar?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get all that.
Bob Lazar, are you familiar with Bob Lazar?
Yes, I am, and he seems awful credible to me. But I've read some stuff on the internet that where they really try to make him out to be a phony. But I mean, he seems awful real to me.
Yeah. Well, he talked about the element 115 somewhere almost 30 years ago, and that was before we publicly knew it even existed. And I'm thinking that is one of the elements that these beings use on their propulsion systems to fly their craft around. Do you have any knowledge about their propulsion systems or how they fly their craft?
No, I don't. I really don't. But all I know is they do use electromagnetic forces. Because I've seen it, I've seen it on the mothership. I mean, the mothership was right in front of me, and I was looking right at it, couldn't see it. It was pitch dark night, but I could see 10 military jets that were giving it a real wide berth, or where it was at. But then when it lit up that electromagnetic charge that wrapped around the end of it, it lit up the whole craft. You could see the whole thing, and it was I would say a half a mile long, probably a quarter of a mile wide, very low profile. But I mean, it was huge. It was just unbelievably huge.
Can you describe exactly where you were? I mean, what state, what city, what location? Where were you when you saw this exactly?
In Central Texas.
But can you say more specifically without getting yourself in trouble? I mean, Texas is massive.
Well, it's we're almost the exact heart of Texas.
So is it anywhere near a
the
lake,
exact
or
heart
is
of
it
Texas
completely
is
like
about-
desert flatland area?
It's kind of rolling hills.
Okay. I got a friend that lives out there that I talked to, so I'm just trying to put the puzzle together. That's all, you know.
Yeah. You're in Canada, right?
Wolfman's in Canada. I'm in California, but I spend a lot of time in Arizona, New Mexico, and I travel Colorado, all the Washington State, Oregon. There's a lot of hot spots over here.
Yeah, hot spot here too, man.
Canada's got a lot of hot spots.
Okay, I find right by this Lake Erie, man, where I'm at the southern tip of Ontario, on Lake Erie shore. That's where I'm seeing most of it. And I've been all over Ontario, but actually up further up north too. Up that way too, because the sky's so clear. It's weird. You really actually just all you got to do is get out from the city lights. They're everywhere.
It seems odd that they would be just here above my ranch, all the time. Yeah, they've got to be everywhere.
Okay, I got to ask you, and I'm not asking you to tell me yes or no over the phone here tonight, but hypothetically, if you became confident that I was a safe person to invite to your property, I mean, do you have guests out there, or is it off limits completely?
Oh, sure. No, it's you're welcome to come anytime you want to.
I have night vision goggles. I've seen craft in the daytime and the nighttime. I have not been, as far as I know, I've not been abducted. Wolfman had a lady on his show one night from Canada. I think.
You were talking about seeing UFOs at night. For years, I never saw one at night. I saw them all in the daytime. And it's only been the last few years I've been seeing them at night.
Okay, everybody, I'm sorry for the interruption. We had a server crash. I don't know why this happened. Probably didn't want to.
We're back. We're back, though.
Yeah, we're back. We're back with Jim Marlin, everyone. So, right on. They can't stop us. They might be able to shut us down for a minute. They can't stop us. We're back.
Jim, what time is it where you are right now, Jim?
Okay, I'm here.
What time is it where you are, Jim?
Let me look and see. It is 10:30.
And what time do you typically go to bed at night?
It's late out there.
After he gets drunk and stoned enough. What do you think? Come on. He used to be Willie Nelson's buddy.
We don't want to be rude about it. I mean, how many more minutes you got in you before you get too tired? We don't want to be rude about it. We love you. We appreciate you sharing your time with us.
Yeah, we love you, man. You're my hero, Jim.
Oh, okay, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate this very much, and maybe I can be on again another time.
Yes. I mean, if you get tired,
I am getting tired.
we understand.
I sensed it too.
We definitely want you back.
That was pretty good, Eric. You've got 3 times tonight that you have been dead on with just sensing things with almost a paranormal spookiness about you, man. 3 times.
Yeah. I'm on the same wavelength. I don't know. I don't want to say too much because they already think I'm at nut as it is. So
it's almost like you were reading his mind.
No, I'm on the same wavelength. All 3 of us are on the same wavelength right now. I can feel it totally, completely feel it.
All right, well,
thank you guys a lot, and I appreciate it very much.
I'd love to have you back anytime, man. I know we couldn't have a big, long interview with him because he just doesn't. He's got to take it easy, man.
Yeah, I mean, I know.
Call me back anytime.
I'm an older guy, and I just know that at 10:30, 11, I'm ready to just relax. So if you're in that mode where you want to talk some more, great. If you want to relax, we appreciate and respect your time.
Yeah, and thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Well, thank you, guys. I'll talk to you next time.
All right, that was Jim Marlin, everybody. Holy smokes, we were lucky. All right. Woo! Oh, we need a rap beat. Chibades. Oh, yeah. And all kinds of balls, man. We like balls. Bouncy, 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 bouncy balls. Boom, bouncy, 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 in the bouncy, 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 bouncy castle. Watch your head. Watch your head. Stabby because the evil cloud. Bouncy, bouncy, the boom, 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 bouncy, 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 bouncy. Watch your head. Jump around, jump around, jump around. In the bouncy, 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 boing, boing, boom, 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 bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. Something like that.
That was cool.
The bouncy
So
castle.
we're gonna get Neil to call in whenever you're ready, because Neil, let me just tell you right now, Neil is a one of a motherfucking kind. This guy, I'm gonna meet him. He lives in Arizona, and I'm only a few hours away from him. I don't know when, but soon. And he's got quite a story. And he lives really close to Bruce May in Prescott, Arizona. So let me just tell you something. Based on my research, there's some strange stuff happening in parts of Arizona. So when people come on that are from Arizona and they start telling you things that might sound completely bizarre, do not discount it quite yet.
Okay, but am I allowed to like hug them and kiss them and hold them forever?
Love them all.
Okay, and can they have cookies?
Cookies and ice cream.
Okay, and I'll bring them in, and then they can tell us about their weird stuff.
You gotta ask them questions though to keep them on track.
Okay, we're gonna have some weird stuff. More weird stuff.
Yeah, very, very
well,
beyond the weird. Beyond.
You know what's strange? Like, well, that's pretty easy. I can just, since I had a break in the speaker show, I can just name this next show. This guy, what's his name?
If you want to do
that's
that,
actually
you can
quite
do that, whatever.
So let's call him up and we'll start the show right from there. Hang on a sec. Or is he in Discord? No. Okay, we're not going to do that. I don't feel like doing that. Sometimes I don't want all that. It's too much. Do you agree? That was nice tonight. It was just.
Yeah, if you don't want to do any more, that's fine.
No, I mean like no, I'm not talking about that. I mean about too many people on the call. Tonight was nice. It was only 3 people. It wasn't interrupting. It was nice.
Yes, it was. I mean, you got your fun later. You know, all these other guys want to come.
Yeah, we can have them come in later.
Yeah, that was quality information. I mean, that was legitimate. I mean, you got certain guys in Canada that don't buy any of this, but well, you know what I'm saying. There's just people out there that just think that we're completely nuts. But I know for a fact that I'm not a nut. I'm not a nut.
Dude, I spent $3 on that call. That's how much I wanted that interview. I used my Skype credit and I spent I just checked. It cost me $3. That was worth it. But now I know how much it costs for somebody to be on my show. If I gotta do a long distance and they only have a phone to the States, it's expensive from Canada, man. It's ridiculous. I have another way of doing it. Maybe I'm experimenting with different things. Something called there's some apps you can get anyway, free global phone numbers. But yeah, it might work. I don't think you can call here though. I can only call out. So that people would have to call me to my regular number, and then I would just call back using the other one. So what's this guy's? Is he going to be able to figure out my Skype if I just give him the?
I don't know.
It's hashtag. It's the same as it's the same as if anybody's listening. Go in the chat room in Twitter. Is hashtag 47talk. That's our chat room in Twitter, and hashtag 47talk is also my Skype line to call in. So that's what he's got to do. So all you got to do is find that and call it, or else I can look him up if he has a Twitter name. I don't have access to the chat room right now because I have to pull that up. I'm not going to use the other computer anymore for that. I'm going to put my chat room on a different computer. That way, hopefully, I don't crash the server again. It could be it. This is it, Pop Talks. It's a website that gives you a free phone line. This is what I use for prank calls. I wasn't sure if I should hook it up and try it out or not. It's not as dependable as Skype. I wasn't going to take a chance on him.
Wolfman, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, that was seriously. You got that 100 coming. I just want you to know, and that was good. You scored. That was an awesome interview, and I appreciate you let me ask questions because everything he was saying, and according to what I was asking him, it all completely resonated 100%.
Yeah, and anyways,
but
yeah. If you want
to, Wolfman, I want you to tell me. I didn't quite get why all of a sudden the reptilians are messing with him after he was originally dealing with the Palladians. That threw me off. I mean, do you have a take on that? Seriously, I'm trying to figure that part out.
That's the last thing I was asking him when it actually bugged out, isn't it? He was just answering.
That might be the next part of the next show.
But I think that's what got cut off. The answer to that got cut. It's funny, man, because that's what got cut off. Oh man, he was answering that. Oh,
yeah,
it's frustrating.
Right.
He was answering that when it all shut down. It sucks, man.
I think you're right.
I just asked him that question, and I think so. Anyways, maybe the answer is right there because I was after it crashed. I wasn't paying attention to what he said anymore for a few minutes there. But I would speculate that.
And Ronnie Dawson's in the chat room.
Basically, nice.
And he's verifying. And I trust Ronnie. I like Ronnie, and he's verifying the story. So I mean, I'm going to go with the story for now. I'm not going to try to debunk it. I just have a feeling that this is This is legit. I
Yeah,
just
this
got
is
the
legit.
feeling.
No, this one was legit. That's why I didn't make fun of the guy, man.
No, you did good. I appreciate that.
You notice that when I have a guest that I think's legit, I don't make fun of them at all.
And it doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't.
But you know what? When you hear all these stories, and then we go back in time in the time capsule to the Bruce May story, you wonder if part of, or if a substantial part of what Bruce May says, if there was some truth there. Because, honestly, I mean, Wolfman,
Dude.
I swear to God, I've got hours and hours and hours of conversations I recorded with Bruce May before I even introduced you to him. And I'm just saying, there's so many stories out there. They all kind of fit together.
I know. I was going to say that, too. The more I listen to the Bruce May stuff, it clicks with so many other people's stuff, man.
Exactly.
How could that
Jesus.
still
I tried to call him recently, and he didn't answer, so I don't know.
How could it say that we're still on the same show, man? So you know what? It might have continued. What? How could that be? It's the same chat room, man. We're still live in the same... Oh, my God. We will reboot. There is a server crash. And it's terminated, but kaput. I can hear. Some people can still hear. I can't believe it. So strange, man.
Yeah, it's still live.
That's really strange.
It's live.
My computer screens went blank, but I think it was still going. Somehow. I don't know. If I put it back up quick enough that it... I don't know what happened there. That's strange. I still don't get it, and it didn't start a new show. We're still on the same one. That's really cool.
Well, do you want to keep on this show, or do you want to start a new show? Bring in Neil, because you are going to love Neil. I'm just going to tell you right now.
Breaking up bad.
Imagine Willie. Imagine Willie having an awakening experience and then suddenly realizing that aliens and UFOs and it's all real, and you're Willie. This is who Neil is. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, cool. Some of the people say their sound is breaking up and stuff. I turned it. I could have been. You were a little loud in there. I think I fixed that. Hopefully. If not, if that sound keeps doing it, guys, just let me know and I'll just reboot. Yeah, see? Choppy sound.
Okay, what do you want to do? You're the poor producer. You make the decision.
What I would say is I'm going to shut this show down and then start a new one with the other guy's name on it.
All right, so I'm going to hang up then, and then either if you want me to call back in or you call me in.
You don't have to. Otherwise, you don't have to hang up. You just stay right there, and it's not going to take long at all. I'm just going to shut down the server, wait a few minutes, and then start it again.
All right, let's call this Neil the Neil Hour.
Okay.
NEAL, and then get him on the line, and you got to give him an hour to tell a story, because it may not take that long, but when you start to hear it, you're going to be
okay. This is the end of this show, and we're going to start another one with a different guest, folks. We'll be right back. Eric, the Awakening Man, the Wolf Man, and we just had Jim Marlin, the UFO Legend.